Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to day 117 of the Chronological Read Through the Bible. Today's reading and commentary starts in 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 26, and we're going to read through chapter 14 today. Now, I'm really just picking up in chapter 13 for the most part. So it's going to introduce us to really three or four of King David's children. Just want to say, keep in mind, he had 8 wives, and he had, we estimate, 19, possibly even more children than that. So we don't have an exact number on the number of children which David had, but this is the beginning of a tragedy within his family. And I mentioned this yesterday at the end is you really see how things begin to fall apart with David's sin with Bathsheba. Even though David comes back to the Lord and repents and his sins are forgiven, there's still a fallout that comes from that. There's still consequences to be paid. So David's son Absalom is going to have a sister. Her name is Tamar. And the oldest son, this would have been the son that, at least by tradition, the crown would have gone to Ammon. He decides he has feelings for his half sister Tamar. And so he devises a way, how do I get Tamar to come to me? And so, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I need somebody to come and nurse me. And so his sister comes and is there with a number of other servants, but he sends those servants out. And now it's just his sister. And then he seduces her and forces her to have sexual relations with him. This, of course, is a grave tragedy. His sister was a virgin. It points this out. Of course, this is not completely inappropriate. And now her older brother, Absalom, is left with this thing of where's the justice? Where's the fallout? What's going to happen? Why is there nothing that's happening to my brother Ammon? And Absalom was like really sort of the family business here. He had a huge herds of sheep, and so he devises a plan that when the time for sheep shearing takes place, he's going to host a banquet. And he first invites the whole family. And David's like, oh, that'd be too many people for you to have to feed and take care of. And no, not the whole family. And then he says, well, send my brother Ammon. And David becomes a little suspicious at this, doesn't he? He starts thinking, well, why your brother? And I think David really had to have an idea that there's something amiss here. There was nothing done with Ammon in regards to Tamar, and I think he's starting to think this is probably going to be Absalom trying to get even. Well, instead, the princes all end up going. I think there's a couple that would probably have stayed behind, but for the majority, the other brothers go along for this sheep shearing. And Absalom tells his workers that when the time is right, once that his brother Ammon has gotten drunk and is sleepy, to jump on him at that point and kill him. And this is exactly what happens. Now, in this fallout, the word is rushed back to King David that all of his sons have been killed. Uh, Somebody kind of jumped the gun there, and David tears his robes, and he's now thinking that Absalom has killed everybody, so there will be no one to contest the throne. And what a real tragedy this has been. That's of course not the case, and they will discover this in time. The brother who points this out is actually the brother that really encouraged Ammon to have the relationship with Tamar. So it's again, it's a very sad situation. Well, this is the building up though of really the division that will come between Absalom and David. Now we're told in the scriptures a number of times the beauty that Absalom was perfect from foot to head, that he was just this raving beauty of men among the other men in all of Judea and Israel. But he will basically live in exile for a time period. And then Joash will devise a little plan to have a woman come to tell her story of woe to King David, that her husband's dead, that her sons were out working in the field and they got into an argument and one killed the other, and now the people want to kill the second son who's still alive. And she's like, but please, please pardon the second son so that my seed may live on, so that I will have somebody that loves me and someone I can love. And so she continues to persuade David until the truth comes out that Joash is the one who's put her up to this, because David had started to have compassion for her situation. And so after all this pleading, then David gives way and says, okay, Absalom can return. But now David wants Absalom's back in the city of Jerusalem. David will have nothing to do with him. Absalom several times wants to come to see David, his father, and David will not see him. And this is going to begin the real division between the two. And I spoke about this just a little bit yesterday as well. This is where that the grandfather of Bathsheba, who was one of David's counselors, is going to end up siding with Absalom. We're going to see this take place in the next few readings. And he's going to kind of be one that spurs this on. And it's so wild that when you think of that, uh, when you think of Joash as being one that was trying to kind of be this peacemaker, he was seeing like these two parties aren't speaking to each other. Let me try to bring them together. I don't know if he's thinking too maybe ulterior motives, like, David's getting older, and maybe he's thinking I'm getting kind of older too, but I need to secure my position. And if I at least try to kind of broker a deal between the father and the son, when the son becomes king, then he'll take care of me as well. That's very possible, but he could have just been trying to be the peacemaker in the situation. This, as I say, begins this real tragedy in David's life. Once David had sinned and fell into that sin with Bathsheba and with killing of her husband, it's a downward fall for his family. And even though he's forgiven, there's still consequences to be paid. This is why we need to guard that we don't fall into that sin in the first place. It's not saying God doesn't forgive. God does forgive and God heals, but sometimes there's still fallout and consequences that come from our sin. Well, brothers and sisters, I hope that your day's going well. Until tomorrow, God bless.